This is video 98 of 101. This video is about my life mottos. I have 7 life mottos. Grateful, good vibes only, love is all you need, do no harm, take no shit, passion finds a way, find passion, always learning, and my favorite one, sustainable or bust. So I'm just going to break these down a little bit for you. Number 1, about being grateful. The number one thing, the most prevalent thing, which I haven't really talked about in any of these videos, but the number one thing to make sure that you are getting onto the right path in your life is to be grateful. And this is the number one thing you need to start with, because you can't go anywhere if you're not grateful. And wherever situation you may be, you really got to think about it in a different perspective. Just think, okay, do I have food for myself? Do I have a shelter over my head? Do I have people around me who appreciate me? I have a job. Even if you don't like your job, you still have a job, which a lot of people don't have. And of course, I don't know who I'm talking to right now, so of course your life may be completely different. But honestly, if you're sitting here at a computer, you have already won the life lottery. So just be grateful for that. You can't say, okay, I hate my life now, but as soon as I have this, this, and this, and this, I'll be okay, and I can be grateful for those things. No, you have to start right where you are right now. You have to be grateful for those things first. And then you're going to start to attract more things to be grateful for in your life. And you don't have to believe it right away, but just give it a try. Just wake up in the morning and just truly say, you know what? I'm really thankful that I have a bed that I can sleep in. I have a bed that I can go to, and I have a shower where I can clean myself off, and I have a kitchen where I can go in and I can make myself food and I can nourish myself. I have a family that appreciates me and that loves me, even if they don't show it all the time, but they're around and they smile and I make them happy and they make me happy. And maybe you just have friends, or maybe you have a job that you really enjoy. Whatever it is, just really be thankful, because honestly it could be totally different. Okay, a really easy way to be grateful is just take that thing out of your life. Like, not actually take it out of your life, but just imagine if you didn't have a bed. Imagine if you came home and you just had to sleep on the floor. And that's the reality for a lot of people. And those people are probably not even miserable, because they're thankful that they have a floor, a safe place to sleep on. So just think about some of the really basic things that you have in your life, and then just take them out visually and be like, wow, this would suck if I didn't have this thing. I'm so grateful that I do have this thing and that it is here in front of me. So that's definitely the best step to start attracting more great things into your life, is by being grateful for the things that you already have. Alright, now my second favorite one, oh man, I should have been wearing my shirt. Whatever, it's good vibes only. There's obviously negativity out there in the world, but there's so much bad shit that's going on that I don't want for a second to have to contribute to that in any way possible. So good vibes only. Positivity only. That is the only way through, is by being positive. Positivity is the strongest force to get through there. Well, except for one other thing, and that is love. Love is all you need. And honestly, I didn't start to realize this until roughly about 2 years ago or so, when I broke up with the 2 people that, like, my one best friend that was like my best friend forever, and my boyfriend. But I was never happy in that stage. And once I finally got rid of those people in my life, I realized that there was a lot of other people, and that I loved those people so much more, and I was so much more fulfilled once I just had these awesome people in my life that I could just turn to. I could say whatever I wanted to. I could go out and do adventures with them, and I just loved them so much. Like, I just loved their beings, and I just told them that, and I told them that I loved them, and I told them that I appreciated them, and we really started to build this strong bond. And so if you have people in your life that you love, honestly, that's all you need. You will feel so fulfilled as long as you just have people in your life that you love. And if you don't have these kind of people, you're gonna find them. As long as you're on your path and you are just being positive and you're being grateful, you're gonna attract these people into your life, and you're gonna love them. And if you have people in your life that you're a little bit worried about, maybe just get rid of those negative people, but maybe these are some people that there's an opportunity for you to just love them a little bit more. I think none of us should ever be afraid to say I love you, to give people hugs and kisses and just show affection. I am such an affectionate person, and honestly, I never felt this fulfillment after dating and being with guys. I know I was with a lot of guys, and I never felt any kind of fulfillment from any of those relationships, even though they were really fun or whatever. But it was truly my friends, the people that I could turn to, and I could say that I loved them, and I could really feel that in return. That was when I really felt like I didn't need anything else in the world. And honestly, as long as they're with me, I really feel like I could do anything. We could be literally just sitting and doing absolutely nothing, but I would be happy. So having those kind of people in your life, it's really all that you need. All right, do no harm, but take no shit. This is one of my favorite ones because obviously we don't want to be doing harm. We don't want to be contributing negatively to the world. But of course, if something is contributing negatively to ourselves, we can't let that hurt us because we need to realize that we are a positive person, and if we let negativity come in, it's just going to poison us. So obviously we're only giving out positive, but of course you're going to experience negative things in your life, but don't let that get you down and don't stand for it. If someone's coming up to you and giving you shit, you don't have to go and scream and get angry at them, but you just say, hey, I'm not going to tolerate that because that's not the way you should be talking to people. You need to be respectful. We need to obviously always be educating people in what is right and wrong when we're faced with these kinds of situations rather than just getting angry. And I know this is a really hard thing to do, but once you start to realize that your emotions are totally in your control, it'll become a lot easier. And once you realize that anger is a really, really shitty emotion to have, you're going to be way less quick to anger when you I hate being angry, so I'm way less quick to anger because I don't want to be there, and I can control myself to not get there, and I can see a situation and be like, okay, there's something that I can say here that might help actually benefit the situation rather than me trying to get angry and make the situation even worse. Why would I do that? Obviously, do no harm. Just don't hurt anybody. Like, why? Why would you try to hurt somebody? The only people that hurt people are people that are hurt themselves. So if you're hurt yourself and you want to go out and hurt people, let's just take a little introspective journey and be like, why am I so hurt? What was this moment in my life or the prevailing moments in my life that have made me so hurt and made me this angry? Like, what was that moment? And realize that everybody has had a moment like that, but other people are just choosing not to let those moments define their life. And right now you're letting that moment define your life. And are you happy right now? So if you're not happy because you're letting this moment define your life, well, you can let that go and just let it go, because what's the point in holding on to it? Anyways, so do no harm, but don't take any shit. Now, my favorite one obviously is about passion because I'm passionate about passion, but passion finds a way, find passion. This was one I actually kind of like made up myself. But basically, if you love something, you will find a way to do it. You will find a way to get better at it. You will find a way around it, because if you really, really, truly believe that this is the thing you're supposed to be doing, you will figure out a way to make it happen. You will figure out what you need to learn. You will figure out what you need to do, who you need to meet, where you need to be. You'll figure that out because passion is driving you there. And passion is something that you can't forget. Passion is something when you go to sleep at night, it's always there, and it's something you're not going to be able to forget. You know, you're doing a project at school or something, you don't really care about that. You're like, I don't really care if I get a good grade, I just want to get it done. There's no passion behind that. But if there's something that you really want to do in your life, you're going to find a way to do that. And so finding that passion is really important, because that's what's going to drive you in your life. So passion always finds a way. So find your passion. And one of the last ones is always learning. So I graduated school this time last year, and I have never stopped learning. I think I've actually learned way more now that I'm out of school than when I was actually in school, because not saying there's anything wrong with schools. I think schools are an awesome place for you to get an education and to really learn a lot about yourself, but sometimes they may be just a little bit narrow-minded, especially in college. Like when I went to college, I went specifically for this one thing and I learned about these things, but then when I went out into the world, I learned about all these things, all the different stuff, and I moved out of my parents' house and I'm living on my own, and I learned so much about myself, and wow, like it's actually incredible. So always be learning, always be taking in what's going on in the world, always just be thinking about it and being introspective and questioning things, because that is going to be such an incredible lesson. I'm always learning things. I started learning filmmaking, I'm going to be learning different sports, I'm going to be learning all these cool things. I learned photography finally, and I'm now able to use my camera on manual mode, and it's a really satisfying feeling. So always be learning. Always think, what do I want to learn? Like, just always think, like, what are the skills that are going to benefit me in my life? Okay, let's try to learn those. There are so many, like, free courses online, or just, like, lots of information online that you can find. So it's pretty awesome what you can learn with the internet right now. Take advantage of that and just learn as much as you possibly can, because who knows. I remember one time when I was just getting into fashion, and I just like heard the name of like this hat designer once, and I didn't really know a whole lot about him. Then I was at a trade show and I was talking to someone, and I really wanted to like kind of win them over, and they started talking about millinery, which is the making of hats, and I mentioned this guy's name, and they were just like, oh my god, you know this guy, like that's so awesome, blah blah blah, and we started talking, we like totally hit it off. So honestly, you never know, like I have so many experiences where I just learn this random fact and I'm like, I don't really know where I'm gonna use that, but then like a year later, 6 months later, I'm like, I have the use for that fact. So honestly, learn as much as you possibly can. You have no idea where that's going to end up coming. And honestly, when you learn that thing, some kind of event is going to be attracted into your life where you're going to have to end up using that knowledge. So it's pretty cool how that all works out. Again, that's about going beyond. You can't deny it because you don't know about it, right? And then lastly, my favorite thing, the overall prevailing message of this entire video series is sustainable or bust. That's not a joke. I got it printed on a t-shirt. It's somewhere in the laundry. But if you are not sustainable, at some point, you're gonna fail. At some point, you're not gonna be able to keep going. If you are sustainable, literally means that you can keep going. So if it's not sustainable, that means at some point you're gonna have to stop. And so if we are living in a world that's not sustainable, at some point that's gonna have to stop. And let me tell you, nature and earth is not the thing that's going to stop. It's humanity as a whole that's going to have to stop. You know, I've said this a million times, but it's either that we're going to suffocate from lack of oxygen, we're going to starve or be dehydrated from lack of resources, if not before we all kill ourselves over the resources in some kind of crazy wars, which is probably the most likely thing to happen because I doubt we're all just going to sit around and let ourselves starve to death when we're human beings, and when we have survival instincts, we're going to kick those in and go nuts. And we don't have to have that though. We could literally just right now start being sustainable, and then we can just keep going. And then there is no end. Then we can just keep going, and who knows what humanity can be doing in the next 5, 10, 50, 100,000 years. Wouldn't it be amazing to get humanity to be in the next 1,000 years? That's not going to happen if we keep going the way we're going. We'll probably be gone in the next 50. Within my lifetime, humanity will be diminished if we don't start to be sustainable. That is a terrifying thought, and that's why I'm doing everything in my power to try to stop that from happening, because that is not something that I want. That is not a life that I want to live. I want to bring children into this world, into a world where they can freely love and be themselves and find their passions and go and do work that really means something to them. So we just can't, we have to be sustainable. Don't you get it? If we're not sustainable, there is an end. There shouldn't be an end, because humanity is incredible and we should preserve it as long as we possibly can. So, sustainable or bust.